Last night in Los Angeles, television history was rewritten in glittering style, and the energy from the 77th Primetime Emmy Awards is still reverberating across Hollywood and beyond. Imagine being 15 years old, standing on one of the biggest stages in entertainment, holding an Emmy in your hands, and realizing you've just made history. That's exactly what happened for Owen Cooper, the breakout star of Netflix's Adolescence, who not only captured the hearts of millions with his performance but also walked away as the youngest male actor ever to win in any acting category. It was a night of unforgettable speeches, record-breaking wins, and emotional surprises. And if you thought the Emmys were going to play it safe this year, you couldn't have been more wrong. The evening began with a dazzling red carpet that stretched outside the Peacock Theater, where Hollywood's finest strutted under a canopy of flashing cameras. Glamour wasn't in short supply, but the real drama was waiting inside. Hosted by comedian Nate Bargatze, the ceremony promised laughs, heart, and something entirely new, a live fundraising challenge tied directly to the winners' speeches. It was a clever twist, and as we'll see, it didn't quite work as planned, but it did add one more layer of unpredictability to a night already overflowing with excitement. Adolescence, Netflix's surprise smash, dominated the awards with 6 wins, cementing itself as not just another teen drama, but a true cultural phenomenon. From its sharp writing to its emotionally raw performances, the series resonated far beyond its intended audience. And Owen Cooper's breakthrough was the exclamation point. Standing on stage, dressed in a tuxedo slightly too big for his frame, Cooper's voice cracked with emotion as he thanked his parents, his castmates, and his fans around the world. He reminded everyone watching that talent doesn't have an age limit. That speech, heartfelt and unpolished, might go down as one of the most memorable Emmy moments of the decade. But Netflix wasn't the only streamer celebrating. Apple TV Plus came in swinging with the studio, which picked up 4 trophies during the night, including the coveted Best Comedy Series. That win was historic in its own right, making the studio the most decorated comedy in Emmy history after last week's Creative Arts Awards pushed its total haul to 9. The cast erupted with joy as they climbed on stage, delivering a hilarious group acceptance that blended sincerity with comedic timing. Fans of comedy knew they were witnessing a series officially etched into television's Hall of Fame. And then there was HBO Max's The Pit, a searing and often challenging drama that took home 3 major awards, including Best Drama Series. For months, speculation circled whether The White Lotus or Severance would take the crown. But in the end, The Pit surged past them, proving that complex storytelling still has the power to captivate both audiences and critics alike. Adding to the night's history-making theme, Trammell Tillman of Severance became the first Black actor to win Best Supporting Actor in a drama series, his tearful words of gratitude resonating deeply with everyone listening. Now here's where things got even more interesting. Remember Nate Bargatze's challenge to keep the show moving? For every second a winner's speech came in under the 45-second limit, he would personally add $1,000 to a fund for the Boys and Girls Club of America. But for every second over, he would deduct the same amount. Viewers at home were on the edge of their seats, stopwatch in hand, waiting to see if their favorite stars would risk the clock. And predictably, almost no one could keep it short. In fact, acceptance speeches ballooned past the limit again and again. Rather than penalize the charity, Bargatze made a bold move, pledging $250,000 himself, with CBS chipping in an additional $100,000. In the end, the fundraiser became a heartwarming highlight, even if the original idea didn't exactly stick the landing. And this is where the Emmys this year truly stood apart. Beyond the fashion, the prestige, and the trophies, it felt like a reminder of why television continues to matter so much in our lives. These stories, whether it's the awkward and tender coming-of-age moments of adolescence, the razor-sharp satire of the studio, or the raw social reflections in The Pit, connect us. They make us laugh, they make us cry, and sometimes they make us look at the world differently. But let's pause for a moment and really think about the impact of Owen Cooper's win. At just 15, he shattered a barrier that stood for decades. Before him, the youngest male Emmy acting winner was still years older. Cooper's rise symbolizes not only the power of youth in storytelling, but also how platforms like Netflix are giving younger voices room to shine. For teens watching at home, his triumph wasn't just entertainment, it was inspiration. Of course, the night wasn't without its lighter moments. When Bargatze teased the audience about their long speeches, some stars leaned into it, cracking jokes about auctioning off extra seconds or pretending to check their watches mid-thank-yous. The banter brought much-needed levity in between the weighty acceptance speeches. It was a reminder that even in the high-stakes world of awards, humor is still the glue that keeps audiences engaged. Meanwhile, social media was buzzing non-stop. On X, Instagram, and TikTok, clips of Cooper's emotional win spread like wildfire, drawing millions of views within minutes. Hashtags like #OwenCooperHistory and #Emmys 2025 trended globally. Fans of the studio flooded timelines with memes celebrating their show's comedy crown, while the pit's dramatic triumph reignited online debates about which series truly deserved best drama. The Emmys have always been a television event, but this year, they felt like a digital phenomenon too, a real-time conversation happening in millions of living rooms across the globe. And while all eyes were on the winners, the show also subtly highlighted the shifting landscape of television itself. Streaming giants dominated the big categories, with Netflix, Apple TV+, and HBO Max sweeping the podium. Network television, once the heart of the Emmys, barely made a dent this year. Some called it the official changing of the guard. Others argued it's been happening for years. Either way, the 77th Emmys confirmed what many already knew. The future of TV isn't just on television anymore. It's on demand, it's on streaming platforms, and it's in the hands of viewers who decide what becomes a hit. And yet, for all the talk of the future, there was also a deep respect for tradition. Many winners spoke about the generations of actors and writers who came before them, paving the way for tonight's diverse and dynamic lineup. Trammell Tillman's moving words about representation reminded everyone that progress doesn't happen overnight, but when it does, it changes the cultural fabric forever. So as the night wrapped up, the mood in the Peacock Theater was a mixture of triumph, relief, and sheer joy. Stars embraced, cameras flashed, and millions of viewers around the world reflected on what they had just witnessed. For some, it was about the glamour. For others, it was about the history-making milestones. But for everyone, it was about the reminder that television, in all its evolving forms, continues to be the heartbeat of modern storytelling. And here's the question I'll leave you with. If a 15-year-old can walk into the Emmys and rewrite history, what other barriers are ready to fall in Hollywood's future? Because last night proved one thing beyond any doubt: the story of television is far from finished.